Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's edition of the EGR Virtual Series. My name is Katie Renton, Head of Event Content at EGR Global, and I'm delighted to welcome you all tuning in this afternoon or this morning, depending on where you are in the world. In today's session, we are taking a deeper look at the evolving and developing regulations across Latin America and focusing on how to enter LATAM markets with a regulated payment partner. EGR are delighted to have partnered with Bitso Business to produce this discussion, and we'll be hearing more about Bitso Business solutions later on in the webinar. With my fantastic panelists, we'll be discussing the booming gaming market in LATAM, the importance of the payment experience within this, and taking a look at cross-border payments and international perspectives, amongst plenty more. Before we get started, I wanted to just point everyone watching in the direction of the Q&A of the broadcast screen. Throughout today's panel, we do invite everyone to send over any thoughts and any questions that you might have, and we'll be dedicating some time at the end of the session to get to as many of those questions as possible. You can post these with your name, but also anonymously, so please do feel free to post throughout today's discussion. Okay, so now let's get started. So I'd like to welcome our panelists to the virtual stage. If you could all come and join me now, if you switch on your cameras, then we should be able to welcome you into the webinar. Fantastic. So we should just have Witoldo and Diego joining us as well. Witoldo, if you're there. Oh, perfect. There we go. Brilliant. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, so I'm delighted to be joined by you all today. And I'm going to, first of all, hand over to you individually to give us a bit of introduction to yourself. So, Julia, if we could go to you first.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm the Director of Public Policy for Bitso in Brazil. And I'm very happy to answer all the questions and to tell you a bit more about the regulation specific in Brazil and Latin America and for the countries that Bitso operates in. So let me know if you have any questions and please enjoy the panel.
Fantastic, thank you. And Rafael?
My name is Rafael Lima. I'm from Brazil. I've been dedicated the last 6 years of my life working in fintechs and focus on digital assets and blockchain. I've been working in Bitso almost 3 years. I am the sales executive for institutional clients here. And today, one of my targets is helping SPs and the merchants to get in and working on this iGaming space.
So Witoldo, if we could hand over to you.
Thanks, Katie. Hi, Julia, Rafael. Well, I'm also Brazilian, a lawyer here in Rio de Janeiro. I dedicated my life, at least the last 12 years, to legal activities related to gambling and payment, running a payment company here in Brazil since 2013 and the gambling space since 2014. And it's a pleasure to be in this webinar, waiting to Diego to show himself.
Brilliant. And
First
Diego,
of all,
over
thank
to
you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to share this space with Indus colleague. My name is Diego Martinoli, and I'm currently the country manager for Argentina at PlayUso, a brand of Skill.net, and the Spanish-speaking version of PlayOsho, the United Kingdom. For the past 17 years, I worked in land-based casinos for 10 years, and then moved to the largest retailer of star car parts. And finally, I returned to this fantastic industry over 2 years ago, leading PlayUso in Argentina. And that is for my side.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all so much. I'm excited to dive in today. Lots of expertise, lots of perspectives on this panel, which is fantastic. And yeah, a reminder to everyone tuning in, please do get involved. Please do send over questions as we go along. All right, so let's get started. And I think what I am excited to do is get a bit of historical perspective on where we're at with sort of LATAM regulations at the moment. So we're going to reflect on the development and exponential growth of the gaming and betting market in LATAM and how this has evolved in the past few years. So Witoldo, if I may, if we could hand over to you for a bit of an overview here.
Of course, Katie. Look, an overview of payment space and gambling, they kind of work together. So in 2013, when we started our payment facilitator in Brazil for cross-border payments, well, back in 2013, there wasn't this figure, this type of institution to collect real from consumers and send abroad. So basically, any type of e-commerce, and then gambling itself is inside this industry. It was only accessible for those who had international credit card. And then, well, some companies, they were already established in country, but, well, using kind of bank transfers, very, very manual processes, and sending money outside of Brazil, usually using a different code of transactions than what we have today. So those companies, when we arrived in the market in 2013, they used to flow money out of Brazil as a person in Brazil was making a maintenance of a son or a father or wife, husband. So it was really crazy stuff. Well, back in that time, in 2013, we could establish an operation that, and the money was flowing like it flows today, like you are going to see Rafael and Julia talking about in a few moments. Well, in 2014, I started to look to the gambling. At that time, some companies that they were operating in Brazil, they were operating with this legal frame. So it is a foreign company based outside of Brazil in a URL that is in a domain registered outside of Brazil, servers, office, staff, everything outside of Brazil. And the reason they could operate from overseas to Brazil, and this is interesting, stress this word, operating from outside to Brazil, not in Brazil, which is different. So the reason they were operating from outside to Brazil is one article of our misdemeanor law that says that criminal misdemeanor law is only applied inside Brazilian territory. Okay, and then the market started to grow slowly with boletos, with bank transfers, again, manual process. The boom of the industry happened with Pix. So, and unfortunately, COVID helped a lot on this. Brazil issued 35 million bank accounts during COVID attached to a Pix key. And then this really boomed the market. So from something that was very manual stuff to something that is absolutely online and instant transactions, it happened in a matter of a year, maybe two. So this is how we reached this stage, from an environment where payment, they were kind of irregular, done like someone making a maintenance, a financial maintenance of a family outside of Brazil, to absolutely regular transactions passing through central bank, registering all the CPFs. So this is, I would say that in the past, nobody had really the knowledge of how much money was flowing from Brazil to gambling companies. After Pix and after the regulation of the market, especially in terms of the payments, now we know every single cent that leaves the country because it's attached to a CPF, which is a Brazilian taxpayer number for a person, and flows through central bank information to a company outside of Brazil. Bitso is exactly in this stage, at least from my point of view. We have Bitso guys here, they can correct me if I'm wrong, but you are a company capable to make this link between a person to a company outside, and everything is perfectly registered, and give not only to the banks, but also to the government, the real sense of who is sending money to who. And well, now I'll leave Bitso guys to talk a little bit about what they're doing here.
Yeah, Julia, if we could maybe ask you, if you could sort of expand a little bit there on some of the regulation, the developments and where Bitso's coming into this.
Yes, of course. I mean, as an overview that Witodo was telling now, since every payment institution that is inside this flow of the betting market needs to be regulated, we were already ready for it. Because Bitso is a payment institution in all countries that it operates, not only Brazil, but also in Mexico, in Argentina, in Colombia. And we are keeping on track of every regulation that the government has been making since then. So we have full compliance with all the requirements from the central bank and everything that we need to serve as a payment institution for the companies. And we also have, I mean, we can send money for everywhere. And I think Rafael can later tell a bit more about the flows that we have. But it's also important to notice that we can also serve all the other markets, okay? Because the Brazilian market is growing really fast, but when you look at the growth, the gross gaming revenue, the biggest one that we have in the region is in Mexico, for example, and we have it's very nice to see when you look at the data from the gross revenue, it keeps growing while the years gone by. So the Mexico one is the oldest one, and then we have the Colombian, the Argentinian, and now the Brazilian. And the Brazilian market is already very close to the Argentinian one that starts to we had the regulation in 2018, I guess. So the Brazilian market is growing really fast, and since we are all regulated in all these countries, and when you look at the regulation in all those countries, like also Mexico, Colombia, and Argentina, they also require that you operate with a company that it's regulated. So we are regulated from one dot to another, and so all the flow can be like very supervised. We have all the compliance requirements, everything that we need. And also, since we have, I mean, I'm speaking here in behalf of Brazil, but we have a policy team in all countries also. So I mean, if you have any other new, like on other regulation or everything else, we are always keeping on track of that, like real time. So I mean, Rafael can talk to you guys a little bit better about how the flow exactly works, but I just want to everybody make sure that we are full regulated from all the countries that we operate, and we are ready to make the changes if they are needed. So it's we won't have a problem, for example, for time that we need to adapt or anything else. We are doing everything on time, and we won't have any they won't have any issues with us in this matter.
Great, thank you. And I'm just keen to bring in Diego at this point as well. So obviously we've talked in quite a lot of detail there about Brazil, but obviously as you mentioned, there's plenty of other kind of countries in the mix that it would be worth sort of hearing a bit more about as well. So Diego, from your perspective, your experience, and also from the kind of the operator perspective, can you sort of kind of expand on this kind of the regulatory point?
Okay, in general terms, I believe the most regulators have realized that regulation is healthy for market, providing security for both companies and most important for users. In this regard, I believe that payment methods have played a significant role. First, I think that they have been much more agile and flexible in offering services to casinos, focusing comprehensively on the customer journey, unlike traditional processors. This is an important point to say. Second, fintech has forced others to be more flexible, adapt faster, and offer new solutions due not only to general improvement, but also in response to the market demands. I think that the pandemic accelerated all these things, but fintechs, in this case, have boosted their business because they are more closer to the customer. But there are several important factors that are always mentioned, yet they are real and consistently fundamental. On the one hand, the evolution the improvement of cellular networks, greater coverage, and higher speed with the implementation of 5G. Most of the countries in Latin America are already or in the way to have 5G networks, and also access to better electronic devices. All this has been decoded and channeled faster by fintechs than by physical banks or payment method. From my point of view, this is a very challenging thing from the other hand. And from the point of view of the operator, we work faster and smoother with fintech than with traditional payment method.
All right, fantastic. And then Rafael, anything you want to add in here as well?
I completely agree with Diego, right? All these things get really potentialized on the COVID time, and from what I understand, the good thing that is the market, especially for Brazil, is growing so fast, especially because the number of population that we have here. And the other, I will say that the Brazilian ones, they are crazy for sports. And so the mix of the two things, I think, is the main point of how the things are going so fast in Brazil. And I really understand that after Brazil, Mexico could be the next big spot for that.
Okay, yeah. So I saw that we had a question in from the audience about that. So yeah, the growth of Brazil. It sounds it's an exciting place to be for all of this. I'm interested as well to sort of talk about the opportunities within each of the gaming verticals as well. So across these markets. So looking at not only sports betting, but the gaming esports and things like that. Can anyone sort of speak to the sort of the nuances here in terms of regulation and the kind of the differences in payment techniques and kind of what's required by customers in each of these verticals?
I think we can say that all the places that at least, for example, in Buenos Aires and the big city of Buenos Aires, Mexico, Colombia, and Brazil, you need to have a regulated partner. Okay, for some countries like Brazil and Argentina, especially in Buenos Aires, you need to have a payment partner that it's locally registered. Okay, in Colombia, it doesn't have to be local registered, but it needs to have an agreement and a specific license with the central bank. So, I mean, we have some differences in a more detailed part, which varies from the type of business and the volume that is transaction and the size of the companies that are operating. But as from the payment size, all of them needs to have some sort of relation and like a institutionalized relation with the local central bank. This happens mainly because they want to, like since like Diego, Vitodo, and Rafael were talking about, they need to get the control of the flow of the money that it's going from inside and outside of the country, which is super normal because we do that for all of activities that that happens in a country. It's not only with the betting or like the gambling market. This happens with all the markets that goes from one country to another, this type of flow. So I mean, you have to be regulated and as a payment institution. When you look specifically at the regulations for the crypto companies, then we have a very good scenario also in Buenos Aires and Brazil. In Brazil, the crypto companies already have to be registered with the CNV, which is the partner from the central bank, the one that covers the mobiliary transactions. And in Brazil, actually today, we had our public consultation from the central bank published saying what the requirements that the crypto companies need to have and need to follow to operate as a secure company in Brazil. So we are also discussing these requirements in Mexico. Bitso is leading the discussion in Mexico specifically. And we also have this discussion happening in Colombia, but they are still a little bit far behind when we compare to the other countries. But the important thing is that Bitso is leading these discussions from the regulatory view, not only from betting, but especially from crypto in all those countries. So even if we have a complementary regulation together with the local that already exists regulation from the bet sides, we are already on board of every other one that we have. So, and for those, I think it would be, all of them will be quite similar to what's happening in Brazil and Argentina, which will probably need that the crypto companies make local register. They have local registries, of course, and also operates with safety and doing a lot of compliance requirements such as KYB, AML, to make sure that the money is safe and especially the consumer is safe. So when you look at these regulatory requirements, I know that it can be a little overwhelming and it can be like, it seems too many rules, but when you're operating with the company that is regulated, it's important to notice that your consumer is safe, so you won't have problems with your consumer. And if you do, you can you have all the means possible with the government to help him to receive his money, or to anything that it's specifically for consumer rights. This is very important, because when you have this kind of relations with your consumer, you can make sure that he will always be with you and will always trust in your company, and you can have like a very close relationship with him, which is I mean, for all companies in all sectors, this is super important. And like the trust that you have in the company that you have business with, from business to business side, and of course from the retail side. So you can see that we have differences mainly in what step they are in the regulation, but they are all going through this process. So, and we are super ready and making sure that we are leading all these discussions here in Latin America. Witold, you can speak. Don't worry, you don't need to raise your hand.
Yeah, the hand has been raised. Witold, over to you.
Okay, Julia, I was going to add. Well, today is a funny story. Back 10 years back, it was a nightmare. But you know, this relationship that the companies have with central bank and with the government, and generally speaking, this is what makes things possible like we see today. So in 2013 and 14, when we started, for example, HSBC, they closed our bank account simply because they didn't understand what type of business you collect real here and you deliver to someone outside of Brazil, right? Santander, they didn't close, but they declined our bank account. Itaú was the first bank that we used to make an FX. So we were trying to pay a merchant in California. The money took 50 days, 50 days to get there. We almost lost the client, and I almost lost the business at that time. So, and this kind of relationship between these companies and the government is exactly what makes it possible, because now everything understand what's happening. I remember I had the chance to speak in a public hearing for the Bill of Law 2303, I think it is 2303, right? For the crypto assets. And at that time, the concern of the legislators was that, well, crypto, it was made for money laundering. It was made for criminals. And I said, look, calm down. If you, okay, all right. So if you come to my office, okay, let's assume that you have a Rolex in your arms. And well, after a consultation, instead of sending me money to my bank account, if you pay me with your Rolex, and I am not going to pay the taxes, well, this is just between us. So you can pay me using your Rolex, you can pay me in cash, and then I'm not going to declare that I made the consultation, I'm not going to pay my taxes. So the problem is not the crypto. we can evade taxation in many ways, using cash, using watches, using crypto, of course. So the problem is not the vehicle. The problem is on the person, is on the companies. So don't get scared with crypto. You should be scared with how people pay other, one company pay the other. This is what you should be concerned about. So sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's no problem at all. I think Diego, I'm interested again to come to you and speak a little bit about the operator and kind of supplier partnership, the payment provider partnerships, from your perspective, if that's okay.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's not our business. It's not your business or my business. It's our business. This is very important to point it out. I think that I'm going to describe 3 or 4 points that I consider very important in this relationship. First of all, market adaptability and flexibility. A successful partnership requires offering a variety of payment options that cater to local preference. Fintechs and digital wallet with their local expertise often provide the agility needed to respond to regional demands and regulatory complexity. This is one of the main issues. In the case of Argentina, we have a lot of taxes. We are on the way to regulate the market, but we are still in the process. Is from the point of view of taxes, is very complex for companies to come here and to do business. The second thing is that user experience optimization. Seamless and fast transactions are essential in online gaming. Fintechs excel at creating frictionless payment processes and enhanced security features such as biometric authentication, which boost user trust. This is very important to boost the user trust. Julia talked about it, but it's very, very, very important. And we told also talk about Brazil, but it's the same case in Argentina. Regulatory compliance. Operators and payment providers must collaborate closely to ensure compliance with local regulation, especially in a diverse region like Latin America. Strong fraud prevention and anti-money laundering measures are essential in this point, and it's very, very important to work together. The fourth point, or the fourth topic that I want to talk about is continuous innovation. Continuous innovation, partnering with fintechs, allows operators to stay at the forefront of payment trends, offering real-time payment. We are not operating cryptocurrency, but of course, it's a very important thing. Cryptocurrency options are growing faster than we expected, and other emerging solutions that attract a broader audience. This is very important. The fifth point, it's a customer support and issue resolution. This is maybe an operational issue behind the scenes, but from the point of view of operators and the payment method, the relationship, a strong partnership ensures efficient problem solving for payment issues, quick response to user concerns, and clear protocols to refund and disputes. Finally, I want to pause here for a moment because in many recently regulated markets, compliance processes tend to be longer, very long, which can disadvantage operators. We understand how important this is and the commitment required from both sides. But surely, whoever handled it best will have an advantage in this matter. That is my point of view in this point.
Julia and Rafa, anything you want to come in on there?
Well, I will make a comment just a little bit about how the cryptocurrency is really helping all of these markets to make everything move really fast. We know that the traditional SWIFT market usually sometimes, as you told us, said, it could take like 50 days for you receive and make a settlement. And we know that for this dynamic universe that is iGaming, we cannot lose 1 day if we are talking about betting and gambling, all the things. The good thing, and for I really understand that cryptocurrency and the iGame market, they are so close together, because on the past, both of them are very discriminalized. And now that we are together on this a new moment of the industry, I understand that every day I see that most of the merchants, they are asking much more for crypto than the old and traditional settlements to do, like Swift or SEPA, something like that. Why? Because it's cheaper, it's much cheaper than and much more fast than the traditional market. And of course, as you told us, when you are dealing with iGaming and betting, all the things, sometimes the bank just don't understand what you're doing, and they don't understand the ties flows, and they understand how much this business really move money. So there's a lot of points that these guys, they used to have the accounts blocked for 1 week. And imagine if you have your funds blocked, how you gonna pay for the winners? So when you have this cryptocurrency on the middle of that, you can make your operation much more easy and fast for all of them, even for the providers, for the players, and everything.
Perfect, thank you. I'd be interested, yeah, just to hear more sort of thoughts on kind of the challenges that kind of operators face here. I know we've mentioned a bit there about sort of AML and KYC kind of elements like that. And yeah, any kind of other thoughts on sort of the key challenges that are faced kind of across all these different markets, and kind of what is out there to sort of help reduce cost, improve efficiency, kind of anything.
So Katie, allow me not to tell how to solve the problem. This is for the big guys, but I'll let me give you a fact. At some point, we had, well, we don't work for the gambling industry only. We work for adult. You work for normal web commerce. At some point, we had 5% of payment attempts coming from dead people. So someone was using someone else's CPF of a dead people. 5%. That's real a lot. At some point, we had 3% of payment attempts coming from underage person. Well, if a guy with 17 years old want to buy, I don't know, a TV, that's fine. So sometimes you have to block because it's adult content, because it's gambling or whatever. Sometimes you shouldn't, because the guy is just buying for, I don't know, more space in the cloud to store his photos, right? So, but this is a real problem, and the solution is on the big guys. How to enforce and how to manage this. I don't know in other jurisdictions. Maybe Diego can give some insight, or Julia about the other countries that you operate with. But this is a fact number that we saw not long ago. Maybe now it reduced a little bit. Eventually, people know that, well, now they are checking CPF, so let's stop using grandpa's CPF, or let's stop using my kid's CPF. So it reduced a lot, but this is the type of enforcement that here in Brazil we need to take care of.
Anything, Julia or Diego, you want to comment on there?
I think Rafa wanted to talk, right? You go, Rafa. This is all yours also.
Well, when we talk about Brazil, everybody use the Pix here for this market, right? And here at Bitso, we have like tools that can help us to identify the minors, the people that are not alive anymore, and the people that sometimes are people that they have some kind of a restriction. So this type of tool helping us a lot to provide these type of flows to come in. So I understand that after the regulation and not too much things will change because we already are on the taking care of these type of flow don't come in and to provide the right to the people work and play on the regular way.
From talking about the Buenos Aires market, the regulators is very committed with the minors. So here is mandatory to cross the ID with first of all, you are not allowed to open an account in an online casino if you are a minor, because in the process of registrations, every operator have to cross the data with the RENAPER. RENAPER is the National Registry of People, of the ID. This is the government's database. So if once you try to log in to sign up in some casino, the system should reset this process. On the other hand, if you are trying to deposit money from a payment method that not belongs for the user that is not a minor, you are not allowed, because before starting the process, the payment method checks your ID, it belongs to you. So there is no way to play if you are a minor. That is very, here in Buenos Aires City, LOTBA, that is our regulator, is very committed and is working very close with all the operators to improve all the tools. And we are working together with payment methods, with our tech teams, with the LOTBA teams. And this is very important to build trust in all the guys that are working in the casino industry. So that is very important. I think Brazil is going possibly to regulate the same way, because it's the best way to check that everybody is over 18 years old.
Yeah, here in Brazil, oh, sorry.
Sorry. So this is what we were talking about. When the legislation improves, the players get more close to the government, then we have a more compliant operation from the government perspective. We have a safer operation from consumers' perspective. This is exactly what we were talking about.
Yes, and in Brazil, yeah, Diego is totally right. In that perspective of understanding who will be the consumer, we in starting in 2025, all the companies will have to see exactly who is the owner of the CPF, the number that we have of registration here in Brazil. We'll also have a mandatory face recognition system to see, even if like, okay, I'm under 18, but I can use, I don't know, my brother's CPF. But from time to time, you will be required to make a facial recognition. And also, it's important to notice that since the regulation is being made alongside with the central bank, they will cross data, especially when it comes to with people with a lot of debts. So they are also trying to protect the consumer in this area. So they will make sure that everyone that is betting is doing in a safe way and a healthy way, also with all this kind of KYC requirements.
Okay, thank you. So I'm aware. So we've got some time where we're going to hear a bit more from Rafa about Bitso Business's full kind of solution, a bit more information about that. So before we get to that, I just want to sort of pose one more question, if I may. So looking at international operators, what would be the key takeaways to know about entering the LATAM market and tailoring their operations to these markets? Any thoughts on that from the panel?
Well, I think I can make the comments. Well, for example, here in Brazil, the international operators, they've been operating in Brazil for, I would say, at least 3 or 4 years. And now that we're going to have this new regulation, they already understand that they will need a certification, a license provider, right? So I will say that in Brazil, we used to have like 3,000 PSPs at least providing some service for these international merchants. And now, after this new regulation that it's already in plan here in Brazil, I will say that there is no more than 50 really institution of payment that can serve them. So a lot of things are changing here in Brazil. And the good thing is the market will be much more organized, I would say that. And for sure, who will win with that is the consumer, because when you have real players and real providers of the payments and all the things, the price will be better and the service will be better. They will have much more options to guarantee that the price will be paid, and they will have like the support that they need, like 24/7, all the things. So for us that is licensed, I will say that we have a huge opportunity, and unfortunately for the other ones that didn't get the license, they will be out of the market. And the same with the merchants that didn't request for the license. So the market, it's about to start a new area, and I think will be great for everyone.
Fantastic. Any other thoughts? Matilda? Oh, you're just on mute there, sorry.
I'm sorry. No, as a lawyer, Rafa, the other day, an operator gave me, hey, Vitodo, can you please make us, informal, a fast due diligence in this payment method, because we are going to integrate on them. And then, okay, I got the taxpayer number. With that, I got the address. I shoot it to Google Maps, and I saw, man, it was a house and bricks. It was not even painted, in a very poor neighborhood in a city in the interior of São Paulo. And I said, I make a screenshot and said, man, this is the guy that you are hiring to manage your payments? No, sure, it's not, because he's making 25 million in processing per month. It's definitely wrong. Well, I don't know what he's processing, but this is his address. So what happened? And then you mentioned the huge amount of payment facilitators, payment methods, or whatever, how you want to call, because Pix did this. When we started back in 2013, man, we used to work with credit cards. So you gotta be PCI compliant. So the level of technical requirements, it was a great entry barrier for new payment methods. Same stuff with you guys. So for you to become a company like Bitso, Jesus, the technical requirements are huge, so the barrier is enormous. But for you to connect peer-to-peer Pix, well, it's quite simple. And then this is why we see so many payment methods spread all over the place. So the regulation, man, that's the key, not only for the market, but also for the operators. How long that guy in the house with the bricks, would operate. We know that back in time, let's say 2012, 2013, there was one payment method working for some merchants outside of Brazil. And one day they disappeared. They disappear with everybody's money. You know, this is the problem. When you start seeing this kind of stuff, man, it's tragedy for the market. So you're absolutely right.
And Diego, any final thoughts there from you?
I think that I'm going to point out some things that from the international operator. First of all, regulatory landscape in Latin America is a patchwork of regulations. It's very important to achieve all these kinds of things. Our colleagues was talking about it. On the other hand, from the perspective of course, from the operator, right? Localization of payment methods is very important. Preference vary significantly across Latin America. So this is the case that we should, it's essential for capturing broader user base and improving transaction efficiency. Cultural adaptation is very important to tailoring marketing strategies and customer experience to local culture is crucial here. Effective localization goes beyond language translation. It requires adapting promotion, customer service, and user interface because this builds trust. This is very, very important. Of course, focus on accessibility, on mobile accessibility. Mobile first is mandatory. It's mandatory for everyone. And other thing that I want to point it out that is very important is strong customer support. I want to talk about it because LATAM user expects reliable, accessible customer support, often preferring local languages. So in this case of operator, we had a customer support center here with a localized guys speaking in your language, establishing customer service channels that cater to local needs and enhances user satisfaction and loyalty in this case. And the last thing I want to point it out is competitive issue through fintech partnership. Fintech is in LATAM are driving innovation in payment processing, and partnering with them can give operators a competitive edge. Fintech solutions not only simplify payment, but also adapt quickly to regulatory changes and other security features tailored to the region. That is very important thing from the point of view of the operator.
Brilliant, thank you. So I'm keen to get to Rafa again, just to talk us through a little bit more about Bitso Business and the solution, and to sort of relay that back to some of the talking points that we've gone through in this afternoon's discussion. So Rafa, over to you.
Yes, please. Well, as we said, we have a local entity in Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, and Colombia. And as we are a very licensed company, we are connected straight to the central banks. So we have the on and off ramps and fiat and crypto. This is our specialty here. So for Brazil, as we speak already, we have the Pix for this iGame industry. That is the from what I understand, will be only two methods that the government will let for you make your bets. That will be the debit cards and the via Pix, right? So we are very good on that. So we have the support. As I said, we have the tools. We do the screening in each transaction. So we have the technology that is necessary to hold millions of transactions. For Mexico, we have the SPAY, that is the payment method instantly on Mexico. It's growing very fast, and the Mexican, they used to use a lot of cash, but we understand that the SPAY will be the next big payment method, most useful, right? For Colombia, we also have the PSE, it's another instant method, and Argentina, we use the CBU. So in all of these countries, we have this pay-ins and payout solutions that is perfect for this type of the business. And The other thing that I will say, as we have a local presence in all of these countries, we understand how the things work. So when we talk about support, we have a 24/7 support for all of our clients, and especially when they are using one of our payments methods. What else? We understand that this iGaming moment, it's just on beginning when we talk about Latin America. I know this is in Europe. It used to be bigger, and the people from Europe, they are willing to bet much more time than the Brazilians one, because there is, on the past, this was nearly legal here, and at some point it started to be legal, and after that. But the other thing that is I really like to say, that it's about to have this access to all of these countries in Latin America. You only have to have a Bitso account. You don't have to have a local entity in Brazil, for example. If you would like to access the payments and payouts, you can use our infrastructure. The same in Mexico, the same in Colombia, and the same for Argentina. Have one single Bitso account, one integration, and you can have access for all of these countries. So for that reason, I understand that the people are looking much more for Bitso for now, because if they are passing for a moment, for example, in Brazil, if they are looking for new markets, they understand that Bitso business for sure is the right partner for that.
Fantastic. So we actually, that sort of takes us nicely to a couple of questions that we've had come in. So we've got about 10 minutes left. So I'm keen to get to these. First of all, so just Rafa, since we've just been speaking to you about Bitso specifically, I'll go to the second question first. So what are the potential benefits and challenges, and how can Bitso business facilitate this adoption?
Well, sure. Well, as I said in the beginning, using the blockchain or make the settlements is faster, cheaper, and much more security. So, and Bitso, well, as I said, we are specialized on these crypto settlements. So we can, if a merchant are looking for crypto settlements, for sure, we can help them. And of course, we can also help them on the whole cycle. So we can help them to collect the fiat. We can help make them to the conversions, and of course, we give all the support then to make the transactions between wallets and all the things. So this is, I will say that the benefits is the cheaper, fast, and much more security.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. And then, yeah, a nice question here that I think kind of can go to everyone. It's quite a nice sort of summary question. What are the key factors influencing the behavior of Latin American gamers, and how can operators tailor their offerings to meet their specific needs and preferences? And I suppose as part of that as well, you know, where does the payment partnership come into that? So I guess, Diego, if we could go to you for that one first.
Sorry, can you? I lost the connection. Sorry.
No,
can you repeat
okay.
the question?
Yes, sure. So what are the key factors influencing the behavior of Latin American gamers, and how can operators tailor their offerings to meet their specific needs and preferences?
From the operator's point of view, I think that we are looking for new trends, how the people are, the user experience is very important to follow these new trends about the new key factors. And the Latin America gamers we are still in a green market. So we are going to more regulated markets. Our customers are learning how to use some devices. It's incredible, but it is part of our work that we are developing, and we are working together with all the operators, because for the green markets, especially, we have a lot of people that are accessing to new devices, So we work very hard, offering seamless experience, try to skip some steps, try to do all the process as short as possible, because we detected that most of the people are looking for a frictionless solution. So together with the payment methods, we are trying to improve all our processes, the registration process, the cashier process, everything relating to make it all the things more shorter and easier to understand.
Perfect. Any other comments from Julia there?
Oh, no, yeah, I just want to say that I totally agree with Diego. The mobile first, I think it's super important when you look at the Latin American country. When you look at the number of people that have cell phones and people that have actually computers, notebooks specifically, they are very different. And you have your phone on your hand all the time. So all the solutions from the betting stand of view and to the operator, everything needs to be solved in your phone, right? And also, it's very, very good when you have like a provider that has all the features that your local payment central bank has to offer. For example, here in Brazil, it Pix. It's very hard for you to do a bet or to want your market to grow without having access to these kind of features. All right, because for our regulations point of view, we can do payments through debit card, not credit card. Credit card's not allowed, but for the debit card, yes. But when you look at the transactions, almost more than 80% are being made via Pix. So it is very important to seek a provider that it's connected to the fastest and the newest solution that we have in each and every country.
Fantastic. And then, any other kind of final comments from anyone as our sort of timer draws near?
Well, I can.
Oh, sorry, please, buddy.
No, I'll throw my closing words, adding one factor that I believe that helps a lot, in addition to what Julia and Diego said, is that operators understood that they had to localize their operation. So, Mexico and Argentina, they both speak Spanish, but they are different people, different culture, and you cannot deliver the same stuff. Brazil and Portugal, we both speak Portuguese, but different, absolutely different words, including different words, right? So, and then, well, they understood. If you go back 10 years in time, you're going to see lots of websites translated to Portuguese from Portugal. It's not appealing for us, So definitely localization is something that helped a lot. And there was one question that I didn't answer about the growth of the market. Well, of course, the market is bigger and grew a lot. My only point is, I don't know if it grew in the same rate that it appears to happen, for one reason. We had cash-based gambling all over the country. Jogo do Bicho guys and operators, they had hundreds of thousands points of sale, all cash-based. Now, because everybody migrated to online, and then we see the Pix happening. So probably people stop betting on the dog or on the cat. Now they are betting on the tiger, So it was cash-based. Now it's a Pix transaction. So now we see from where the money is coming, where it's going to. So these are my final words, guys.
Great. Anything from anyone else there, Rafa?
Well, no, I just would like to say that I'm more than available to talk with whatever people that are interested to grow to Latin America. For sure, Bitso is the most regulated and is the right partner for if you are looking for growth here. Of course, we are talking about iGaming, but we have a lot of solutions here that could be used for all type of business. So please reach me out if you guys would like to understand a little bit more about what we do. And thank you.
And I just want to add that I know that the regulations are changing really fast and it can be a little bit overwhelming, but don't be afraid of the process and the requirements. They are not as complicated as they seem. And I'm pretty sure that, I mean, I can speak for Bitso, but I'm pretty sure that the companies are ready to to help you understand what is required and how to operate efficiently and with safety. So don't see that as an imperative to go inside the market or as a growth imperative. And we are super on board for helping anyone who's in need.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, that feels like a nice place to end with these remarks. So thank you very much to all of our panelists here. It's been really insightful, and I'm sure everyone tuning in today will probably have further questions following this. So as a bit of information to everyone tuning in, we will the recording of this discussion will be made available to you all. So we'll be sending all of that out, as well as further information about Bitso Business as well. So we'll be sending out a PDF that has a bit more information, and I'm sure that will include some contact details as well for our team if you do have any further questions. So with that being said, thank you so much, panelists, for joining me today. Thank you to Bitso Business for partnering with EGR for this conversation, and I wish you all a fantastic weekend.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Bye.
Take care. Cheers.
Bye-bye.